إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاء المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم. الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم عاهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم.
ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Today I would like you to remember in your du'as and your prayers as we dedicate the reward to this recitation of Surah Yasin to something slightly different. Today is the 100-year anniversary of the armistice, the end of World War I, the day when the guns fell silent in the Great War. And it is a world war. It's not just a war in which Europeans fought. It's a war in which many Muslims fought on both sides. Many of our ancestors on the side of the Allies, on the side of Britain, because they were subjects of the British Empire at the time, and many more probably on the opposing side, the Germans, the Austrians, and the Ottomans. So on this particular the dedication today is specifically for the Muslim soldiers that fought and died in what was a completely and utterly needless, pointless conflict that robbed the world of an entire generation of young men. That was fought for pointless reasons and politics, and really was the unleashing of a conflagration that none of the great powers thought would happen. Many wars are like this. They might start off with particular reasons, but you can't. It's like a fire. Once you've set it, you can't control it. It escalates out of all control, all logic, all reason, and robs people of life. Security, property, and all of the things that you need in order to be able to fulfill your primary purpose in this world. And I'm sorry this dedication is turning into a lesson, but you should know me by now. The Sharia comes to preserve a number of what we would now call human rights, or universal values. Faith, life, health, property, dignity, intellect, and family. The reason that the Sharia preserves these things, and the reason that they are, in fact, universal human goods, is that we require all of these things in order to fulfill our primary purpose on this earth, which is to come to know our Lord. Coming to know Allah through worship is a lifelong quest. If you die in the trenches of the Somme or at Gallipoli in your 20s, you probably haven't had enough time to fulfill that purpose. If you are too busy to seek God because you are fleeing for your life, your property has been taken away or bombed into non-existence, you are separated from your family, or you're permanently or temporarily, you're wondering where the next meal is going to come from, all of these things hinder us from the primary purpose of our existence, which is to know Allah. And the Sharia comes to remove obstacles that prevent man from knowing God, from connecting to Allah. And a particularly egregious example of this was the First World War. So as we read this Fatiha for the souls of the believers, please remember especially the Muslim soldiers that passed away in this pointless, needless wasteful conflict. And also, more generally, all of those Muslims currently and throughout history that have been adversely, negatively affected by the consequences of war, greed, oppression, and stupidity. Fatiha. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وانصرنا على القوم الظالمين وانصرنا على القوم الغافلين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. So, sorry, not quite the Queen at the cenotaph, but probably that's my MBE gone anyway. But yeah, bear the lesson in mind, inshallah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the eve of one of the battles that the Muslims fought, told the Sahaba, do not long for death. Ask for well-being, a life of comfort and well-being. But if you must fight, then be steadfast and know that paradise lies under the shade of your sword. And this hadith, which you often find only the last part quoted, paradise lies under the shadow of the sword. This hadith is actually not about glory in battle. The hadith is actually about not wishing for battle and not wishing for death, but wishing for a life of afiyah. Because afiyah, general well-being, this is what aids us in our pursuit of Allah. It's the reason that we can sit here in these gatherings, because we have afiyah. Whereas other people, those people who are hungry and are searching for food, or who are too sick to attend, or who are traumatized, or who are exiles from their home, are not able to attend. So make shukr for what we have, inshallah. And on that we will that's our dedication for today, inshallah. Let's move on. We will read, inshallah, from Qasida Burda. In fact, we won't, because I think our Munshideen are on their way. So let's instead read the soliloquy. Let's change things around a little bit, and we'll read from the soliloquy now. There's my daf players. 2 out of 3 are here. Okay. So
Hamza going to be downstairs. He's coming with 4. That's one of these.
okay, fine. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa sahbihi wa barik sallam. So we're going to start with the song, and this song here, is it up on the screen? Good. This is this is the qasida of the lordly lineage. It's a qasida in which we go through the ascendants of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet's father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and so on. And this is a sunnah. It is a sunnah of the believers to know the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we put it into a song, inshallah. This is this qasida called the lordly lineage. Which is that? Ready? Right. It's a very easy tune. Sallallahu ala taha khayril khalqi kullihim. Sallallahu ala taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Sallallahu ala taha khayril khalqi kullihim. Sallallahu ala taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Go on. Sallallahu ala taha khayril khalqi kullihim. Sallallahu ala taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. I'm going to keep going. Sallallahu ala taha until I can hear you properly. Good. Sallallahu الخلق كلهم صلى الله على طه وآله وصحبه. God's blessings be on Muhammad, the Prophet who was born of Amina and Abdullah, who never saw his son, and he of Abdul Muttalib, whose true name was Shayba, and he the son of Hashim, he the son of Ahmad. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Son of Qusay, son of Kilab, but Hakim was his name. Murrah, the son of Ka'b, the scion of Nu'ayn, the son of Ghalib, son of Fihr, from whose given name the people dwelt in Mecca's vale and named as the Quraysh. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Son of Malik, son of Nadab, son of Kinana, and he the son of Khuzaymah, the son of Mudrika. Of Ilyas born he mother son, who of Nizar was born, the son of Ma'ad, who of Adnan's progeny was come. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Beyond Adnan we do not go in naming the ascent of Muhammad, upon him peace, but many fathers thence. From his own speech the truthful one narrated that he was the answered prayer of Ismail and of the friend of God. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. O Muslims, learn this was the way of generations past, to know the Prophet's forefathers right up unto Adnan. May he who sent the Prophet with the truth accept from us this litany of those who bore the light of Muhammad. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi, sallallahu ala Taha, khairil khalqi kullihim, sallallahu ala Taha wa alihi wa sahbihi. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. Chapter 3. The Prophet's lineage, in which is discussed the nobility of the Prophet ﷺ's genealogy, the virtues of his immediate ascendants, and the dream of Abdul Muttalib that led to the rediscovery of the well of Zamzam. Salli ya Rabbi wa sallim ala nabiyyina. Salli ya Rabbi wa sallim ala habibina. Salli ya Rabbi wa sallim ala nabiyyina. Salli ya Rabbi wa sallim ala Oftentimes I ponder ponder this outstanding line of men, how each did bear within his soul this one transcendent light, a lineage untarnished, men and women of their times were chosen by their purity for this offspring sublime. The Meccan kingship, Arab crown, was not but twice proffered. The first time to Qusay, the wise, distinguished of his day, the pride of both his fathers, lordly chieftain of the Vale. Thereafter reigned no king until a throne again was bid, when leaders bade the messenger refrain from his message. Were sun and moon placed in my hand, I still would not surcease. They should have known I was within his hand, beneath his feet. He needed not their diadem, for him was all renown, since unremembered time he was determined by the crown. See Hashim, this magnific man, the Arabs called for him to lead them, for they saw in him a light that did not dim. And when he married Salma, greatest woman of her age, Medina did wed Mecca, and to blessed bonds were made. And Abdul Muttalib was named a Shayba from his youth, a grey-haired child of wisdom, far surpassing all with truth. Know you of how an inspiration reached him in a dream? He lay at rest, this lofty man, beside the hallowed house. Right there before his eyes a figure came to him and spoke, "Dig purity," but said no more. It vanished. He awoke, with peace within his heart, and so resolved again to stay. And then again it came, "Dig righteousness." "But what is this?" he said. A third time, "Dig the treasured hoard." Then finally a fourth, "Dig Zamzam," said the spectre. "What is Zamzam?" called he forth. Dig Zamzam, dig her, righteous, pure. Dig Zamzam, dig the treasured hoard. She has been far too long repressed. Your father Ismail's bequest. She shall not dry, she does abound to ever quench the pilgrim crowd. Behold the wellspring, pristine, rife, the earth's effused abundance, life, the Kaaba's treasure long concealed. Glad tidings came as it unsealed. Perceive the secret of the time that Zamzam did cascade. She'd waited for the promised one, a bride at last unveiled. Now heed the word of He Most High, as He does say, rejoice in blessings and the mercy, yea, in this now do reflect, it does surpass that all unto themselves they do collect. The blessing was the treasure, and the mercy Zamzam's surge. But greatest spring of bliss, the mercy was yet to emerge. The truth was spoken clear by him of blessed origin. My Lord has guarded me within the noblest descent, for never has there branched a lineage, but I was sent into the nobler line, until a time I should emerge through wedded bond my parentage, preserved I have come. He surely is the hoped for, the select of the elect. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون صدق الله العظيم. O Lord Most High, do sanctify the one prophetic seal, and with your grace perfume the place His blessed form conceals, and elevate and consecrate and hallow evermore Medina's earth, Jerusalem, and blessed al-Qurra, exalting He whose sandal made them pure. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. So this was the story of, some of the stories of the grandfather and great-grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, as explained in the works of Seerah. The meaning of Medina did wed Mecca. Salma was a woman of Medina who Hashim, the great-grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ, had fallen in love with when he had travelled to Medina. He had proposed to her, and she had agreed to marry him on condition that he did not make her move to Mecca. She wanted to remain in Medina. And so he accepted this, and so she remained in Medina. And he would go to Medina to visit her. She fell pregnant, and Hashim on his trips had come visit Medina, had gone. On his way back, he fell ill to what's called the fever of Medina. Okay, and he passed away from the fever of Medina. And this was before anyone in Mecca knew that he had married Salma. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ's great-grandfather, father, and mother, all three of them died from the fever of Medina. It was very well known, this thing was called the fever of, because it was called Ta'un Yathrib, the fever of Medina. And Medina was known as a place where if people who weren't from that area, it was probably malaria. Most likely it was malaria. Okay? But the people of Medina who weren't from Medina would visit Medina, would become very ill, and a lot of times they would pass away. This is why Medina was called Medina, which means to become ill, or to become diseased. When the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina, it wasn't called Medina, it was called Yathrib. He changed its name to Tayba. He said, don't call it Yathrib. Innaha Tayba, Tayba, Tayba. She is pure, pure, pure. And the Prophet ﷺ banished the fever of Medina. And he banished it away to a place, an uninhabited place, far away from Medina. Okay? But bear in mind, when you hear about this fever of Medina, that the Prophet's great-grandfather, mother, and father all passed away from that fever. And yet that was the place that he emigrated to. Alright? Anyhow, Salma was pregnant and she gave birth to this child, Abdul Muttalib. And as mentioned in here, Abdul Muttalib is known as Shayba. It was his nickname. His name, I should say, was Shayba. Shayba means grey-haired, because he was born with grey hair. He had grey hair throughout his life. Okay? So when Hashim's brother, who was called Muttalib, he visited Medina because he had heard that his brother had gotten married. He visited Medina, he met Salma, and he met this child, but this kid was about 4 or 5 years old. He asked if he could take Shayba away back to Mecca and raise him among his father's kin. Right? And he said to Salma, I will make him a great man of Mecca. So she agreed, and Shayba went with his uncle Muttalib to Mecca. And as Muttalib is riding into Mecca, he meets someone on the way, and he's got this boy sitting on the back of the camel. And someone asked him, oh, Muttalib, have you bought a slave when you went to Medina? And so he jokingly said, yes, this is my slave. Hence the name Abd al-Muttalib. And this is where the name of the Prophet's grandfather came from, Abd al-Muttalib. And it was Muttalib, we'll talk about stories some other time, but it was Muttalib who had this dream, Abdul Muttalib I should say, who had this dream which caused him to re-find the well of Zamzam. Zamzam had been lost. The well of Zamzam, for about 200 or 300 years, had been covered over after a war that occurred in Mecca. The losing side had thrown all the treasures of the Kaaba, the gold and stuff, into the well of Zamzam, and then covered the well of Zamzam. And over centuries it had become a myth that there was ever such a thing as the well of Zamzam. And it was the grandfather of the Prophet 'ﷺ who had this dream, this true dream that came to him, inspiring him to dig in that particular place until that fountain rebubbled up again. And that's how Zamzam returned. And this is a prophecy of the coming of the Prophet ﷺ, because the area around the Kaaba had become a desert, literally because its fountain had been lost, and figuratively because its purpose had been lost, which is the worship of one God. And when Muttalib digs up the well of Zamzam, literally water comes out of the desert, but figuratively it is a sign that the water is going to return to the Kaaba, the water of life, which is the worship of one God, is going to return to the Kaaba. And that's what this chapter is about. That's what this chapter of the soliloquy is actually about. Okay, we move on, inshallah. I don't know where our Mushideen are today. So I don't know, Sheikh, whether you want to give your talk now or you want to wait a little bit. Shall we read the Burda, guys? Shall we read Burda? Let's do Burda, right? Inshallah. So, yesterday we read the first half. We read the first half of the third chapter of Qasida Burda, and those of you who were here, and most of you obviously were here yesterday, we spoke about what the third chapter is about. So we'll continue reading it today, inshallah. Change up the tune a little bit, but again, a nice easy tune for you guys. What tune did we sing yesterday? I forgot. I can't hear you. Was it Mawlaya Salli wa Sallim? Mawlaya Salli wa Sallim. How's this one? Mawlaya Salli wa Sallim daiman abadan ala habibika khairil khalqi kullihim. Yeah, Baba is very nice. Baba is very nice, but it's not a concert. You guys are my munshid today. Can you sing that tune? No. Let's try it, and you try it. Can you duff to it? You try it. You're gonna try it. We're all learning here, right? مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم. It's too difficult. Is it too difficult? Is it difficult? Too hard? You want to go boring? Or go boring? Mawlaya Salli. Not really? Serious? You guys know this one better than you know the Indo-Pak version, huh? Allah. Okay, alright. We won't go too complicated. We'll leave that for the bunches when they come. Okay? That's democracy here. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم وانسب إلى ذاته ما شئت من شرف وانسب إلى قدره ما شئت من عظام فإن قول رسول الله ليس له حد فيغرم عنه ناطق بفم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم لو نسبت قدره آياته حين يدعى دارس الرمام مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. Were his miracles to be as mighty as his rank, just the sound of his name would bring dead bones to life. What a beautiful line. And it is the name of this is what we're here to talk about during this winter spring. That connection to the Prophet ﷺ that revives the heart to life. That brings the heart back to life. What we want is that the mention of the name of Muhammad brings your heart to life. That is the miracle. That is one of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. That 1400 years after he left this world, 5,000 miles away from where he lived his life, people from a different ethnicity, who speak different languages, who have a completely different worldview and background and stuff, can be brought to life by the love of the Prophet ﷺ. That his name brings their hearts to life. His name makes their tears flow from their eyes. This is what we want, that connection. The Prophet ﷺ is alive in the most important place where he needs to be alive, which is in your heart. Don't worry about the theology of it. Leave that to the scholars to argue about. The Prophet ﷺ is alive in your heart. That's where he needs to be alive. And he's the spark of life. That is the spark of your iman. Because you can't have iman without Muhammad Rasulullah. And you can't really believe Muhammad Rasulullah without trusting in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you can't really trust the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam until you love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you can't love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam until you know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you connect to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hence, the purpose of these gatherings, all gatherings like this, are to connect you to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From connection comes knowledge. From knowledge comes love, from love comes trust, and from trust, as Imam Ghazali said, comes belief. Muhammad Rasulullah. And Muhammad Rasulullah is the key. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah is the key to Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And that is why we say that the connection to the Prophet ﷺ is the root of your iman. It's the basis of your iman. For his miracles to be as mighty as his rank, the sound of his name will bring dead bones to life. But his miracles are as mighty as his rank, because the sound of his name brings our hearts to life. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم لو نسبت قدره آياته عظاما أحيا اسمه حين يدعى دارس الرمال لم يمتحن بما تعيا العقول به حرصا علينا ولم نرتب ولم نهب مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم أحيا الورى فهم منه فليس يرى في القرب والبعد فيه غير منفهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم كالشمس تظهر للعينين من بعد صغيرة وتكل الطرف من أمامي وكيف يدرك في الدنيا حقيقته قوم نيام تسلوا عنه بالحلم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم فمبدأ العلم فيه أنه بشر وأنه خير خلق الله كلهم وكل آية أتى الرسل الكرام بها فإنما اتصلت من نوره به بمولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم فإنه شمس فضل هم كواكبها يظهرن وراها للناس في الظلم أكرم بخلق نبي سنه خلق بالحسن مشتمل بالبشر مبتسم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم كالزهر في طرف والبدر في شرف والبحر في كرم والدهر في كمام كأنه وهو فرد في جلالته في عسكر حين تلقاه وفي مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم لا طيب يدين ضربا ضم عظمه طوبى لمنتشق منه وملتثم لا طيب يدين ضربا ضم عظمه طوبى لمنتشق منه وملتثم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله إن شاء الله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله ما شاء الله. I'd like to welcome now my dear brother Sheikh Tahir Kiani, who is a great friend to our Mawlid, mashallah, who has been coming for a number of years. Whether he speaks or he doesn't speak, he's been attending with his family this Mawlid. I know he tries his hardest to come when he can. I think last year you were going for Umrah, I believe, right? Is that it? Yeah. So give him a pass. He went for Umrah. Give him a pass for last year. But mashallah, he's come straight from, he's driven here straight from out of town to come to be with us tonight. And he's going to be talking to us again on our topic, our chosen topic, which is personal reflections and advice on how to connect to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he has, has helped him in his own life, what he's learned from his teachers, and what advice he would give to us, inshallah. Bismillah. Inshallah.
الحمد لله كفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيد الوراء شمس الضحى بدر الدجى الصدر العلا نور الهدى أحمد المجتبى محمد المصطفى عليه تحية والثناء وبعد. قد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد وفرقانه الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من يطيع الرسول فقد أطاع الله الآية. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. The topic that has been given to me is a little more quite difficult for me to explain anything in that sense. So what I have done is I've taken the liberty, it's over there. So I've taken the liberty of expanding on it a little bit. You see, our connection is with beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But has any of us, have we seen Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How do we have that connection? Our connection is not such as we connect with each other. We see each other. We speak to each other. But how do we connect with beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When we ask somebody or we tell somebody on the street that I am connected to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's going to ask us how. How are you connected to him? Well, many different ways we can actually explain that, but if we are looking for a physical connection, where is that physical connection? In a general classroom setting, I would sometimes ask students to put their hands up. I'm not going to ask you to put your hands up here, but there are Muslims these days. I'll just answer the question myself before I even ask it. There are Muslims these days who tick the box as Muslim, but they will openly say, astaghfirullah, they will say, I don't believe in Allah. I don't think He exists, but I am Muslim. And why is it that they say that? Because they are looking for a logical explanation of the existence of Allah. They are looking for a logical explanation. I'm sure there are people out there who can logically explain these things and comfort them. They are looking for scientific proofs of certain commands that we have been given in the Quran and Sunnah. And I'm sure these scientific proofs can be given to them as well. But look at those people. Hundreds of years ago, when beloved Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to them, pray. Pray like you see me praying. They did not ask for any logical explanations or any scientific proof of the benefits of prayer. Nowadays, this is what people are looking for. What is the benefit of prayer? What's the benefit to me? Why should I pray? Why should I wash 5 times a day? Oh, it's healthy for you. The Sahaba did not ask for that. They knew what the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us. That's it. That's it. That's enough for us. We do not need any logical explanation. We do not need to go into that any further. Now, 1400 years later, when we are saying we are connected to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how are we connected to him? Do we see him explaining these things to us or showing us how he prayed? Our connection goes through lineage. We are the people of the Salaf. There are many other civilizations, religions, faiths, you could say, before us, before Muslims, who had a lineage but they lost it. They were disconnected from the teachings. Either they disconnected from the messenger or they disconnected from the divine scripture. And when you disconnect from either of those two, the other one just automatically becomes useless, fruitless for you. It becomes worthless. You do not give it the respect it deserves. You need to be connected to both at the same time. Alhamdulillah, Muslims are connected to both. And the lineage is there, the sanad is there, the connection is there, the chain is there. Each and every single one of us are connected to beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If somebody says spiritually, that's understood. Spiritually we are. But physically we are connected as well, because our teachers met their teachers physically. And then they in turn met their teachers physically. And when we connect these people, these noble people, physically, generation after generation, going all the way back to beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that physical connection is there. That physical connection is there. So that is the sanad, that is the isnad, that is how Islam still survives. Many of the civilizations came and went. They lost either one, the messenger, they lost that connection, or they lost the connection with the divine scripture. But Muslims, alhamdulillah, we still have the connection to both. We recite the Noble Quran daily. Okay, we have the Quran, we have beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We recite the Quran daily in salawat. Just generally recite the Quran as well anyway. Especially Surah Al-Fatiha, the oft recited surah, the Sab'at Matan, recited surah of the Noble Quran. But when it comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how many times do we consciously dedicate some time and remember him? The Mawlid is something that reminds us of that. What is our real connection? What is our relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? We have the Quran and we recite it in Salah. We have the Quran, we recite it generally anyway. But when it comes to beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where is that connection? Where is that connection then? When Sayyidina Adam al-Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was created, he looked up and he saw the gates of paradise, light. He looked at it with a bit more concentration and attention, and he saw Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam written right next to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he asked, Ya Allah, whose name is this next to your name? Who is this? Must be someone very special whose name is written next to yours. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that this is Khatam Nabiyyin, one of your children who is going to come and is going to guide the people. And Sayyidina Adam al-Nabiyina wa alayhi salatu wassalam, he fell in love. He just fell in love. He said, Ya Allah, I cannot reach up there, obviously, gates of paradise. I cannot reach up there. Put that name in the nail plates of my thumbs. Put that name here and I want to kiss it. Now I want to kiss that. So that was his connection with the name that's on the gates of paradise. And our connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is through our teachers, through that lineage, and through our spiritual connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, through the lineage of our shuyukh. The bay'ah system, is also based on this lineage as well, going back to beloved Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, even though he was sitting next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would still kiss the nail plates of his thumbs and place them on his eyes whenever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's blessed name was mentioned in the adhan. Though Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be sitting right next to him. And that is such a, that's teaching for us though, isn't it? That's teaching for us. You can see the Musa ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wa salam, when he was told, he said, this huge ummah. Whose ummah? Is this my ummah, ya Allah? Allah said, no. This is the ummah of the last messenger who is going to come. The last messenger. Musa alayhi salam, I want to meet him. I want to see him. And the ulama say that his wish was granted and his dua was accepted when he got to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than anybody else on the night of Miraj. On the night of Miraj. Subhanallah. No other prophet got to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as abundantly and as many times and in such proximity as Sayyidina Musa ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wasalam, and that was due to this dua. Sayyidina Isa ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wasalam, his connection, his love with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was such that, Ya Allah, I want to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with beloved Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I want to tie his shoelaces. I want to tie his shoelaces. That is the connection that Sayyidina Isa ala nabiyina wa alayhi salatu wasalam, that was his wish. That was his wish. And then when you come to the Sahaba, and that respect and honor, and that connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and their relationship. You know, we have different relationships with different friends, different siblings. So some friends we're very frank with, other friends we're a little bit, restricted, a little bit closed. Even with our siblings as well, even with our parents as well, in fact with other relatives as well. People we meet on the street, sometimes we're very open, sometimes we're a little bit closed. And that's how we are. That's the nature of humans. Most of the Sahaba, especially Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he would look at people in the eye when he would speak to them. He would look at people in the eye when he would speak to them. But when it came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he would never look at him in the eye. He would never look at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the eye. That was his connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That you are different. How can I treat you like I, treat other people? Don't even raise your voices above the voice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's specific to him. So Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, he wouldn't even look into the eyes of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Though he would look into the eyes of other people when he would be speaking to them. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was exactly the opposite. When he spoke to people, he would not look at them in the eye. But when he spoke to Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam, he would look at him in the eye. This was the differences, between the Sahaba and their connection with Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. Because Uthman radiallahu ta'ala, at one place he stopped, he performed wudu. And this was after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had his burial. He performed wudu and then he stopped at a place during the wudu and he smiled. And then he carried on doing wudu. And then he asked the people who were watching, he said, do you know why I stopped and smiled during wudu? They said, we don't know. He said, at one time I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam perform wudu at this very place. And when he was performing wudu at the place where I stopped and smiled, that is where he stopped and smiled. That is the love and the connection they had with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They would observe everything that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would do or say, and they would try to emulate that. And when these people ask for logical explanations and scientific proof, that everything does not require logical explanation. Some things are just love. Love is beyond explanation. Let's ask them for logical explanation of love. It'd be lost there. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was in Makkah. He was on his camel once, and he made his camel go round in a circle twice before he carried on. And then he told other people, he said, you know why I did that? At one time I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his camel, we don't know if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the camel do that or not, but at one time the camel of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam normally would just keep walking straight. But on one occasion it actually went round in a circle twice before it carried on. Nowadays we have roundabouts, don't we? You could probably say that maybe we got the roundabouts from there. But Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he made his camel go round twice at that place without any explanation, and people are asking, what's going on? What is he doing? There's nothing to stop him going straight on, there's no roundabout. And why has he made his camel go round twice? And he said, once I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his camel went round twice here, so because of that, I made my camel go round twice as well. This is the connection with Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu ta'ala, subhanallah. It is said that whenever he used to make adhan, he used to point, when he used to come to Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, he used to point at Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. After Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is buried, he could not bear to, subhanallah, your connection is our connection is such with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We all want to be in Medina, live there, die there. But his was such that he did not want to be in Medina anymore. Every place he looked, before he used to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam there. Now he wouldn't. He can't see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not there anymore. Where is he going to go? Where does he look? Where does he point? Saying the azan. He ran away. He ran away and ended up in Syria. He left. One night, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to him. And he said to him, Bilal, why have you left us? And it is said that Sayyidina Bilal, when he woke up, his shoes were on that side, towards the north, away from Medina. And if he was going to set up towards Medina, he would be going in the opposite direction. He left his shoes and he ran back. He came back that way. And later on when somebody asked him, why did you leave your shoes there? He said, putting on the shoes would have delayed me. Because they were on the other side of the bed or the mat or whatever. So he came back. He just went back to Medina. Straight to the Rawdah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He cried and cried and cried. And the people asked him, Ya Bilal, you're here now, please call the azan. Even Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, he said, Ya Bilal, you're here, please call the azan. And he said, no. Then the leaders of the youth of paradise said, Hasanain Karimain radiallahu ta'ala anhuma wa alayhim as-salam. They came, very young at the time. And they asked, they said, Bilal, would you like to lead to azan for us? And he couldn't say no. He hugged them, kissed them, cried whilst hugging them. When he called the azan then, he called the azan. And it is said that the people thought that the Prophet ﷺ had come back out of his grave. Because it reminded them when Bilal used to call the azan, when the Prophet ﷺ used to lead prayer in the Masjid al-Nabawi. His connection with beloved Mustafa ﷺ was such that he could not bear to see any place without Rasulullah ﷺ. That is why he left Medina. That is why he left Medina. So our connections are, like I said, different. And we could go on and on talking about these different connections. Let's just talk about something, we're talking about humans. That tree stump, a dead tree, stump of a tree, is just dead, there's nothing there. Prophet ﷺ used to lean on it. He used to lean on it and say the khutbah. He used to just touch it, that's it, it's just a dead piece of wood. But one day when the Prophet ﷺ had a pulpit made, he was standing there, that dead stump of a tree, absolutely dead, nothing to it. People could hear it crying. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went up to it, comforted it, and he said that it's crying because it cannot bear to be away from me anymore. It's so used to me. It just wants to be next to me all the time. That's a connection of something that's, for us, is inanimate, is a dead trunk of a tree. That's the connection with those. And then we ask for logical explanations and scientific proofs. Sahabi is somebody who's connected to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You cannot be a Sahabi unless you have that connection. And then a Tabi'i is somebody who does not have a direct relationship or connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His connection is indirect, but it is through a Sahabi. Now that is where our lineage starts, from the Sahabi. It ends at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It comes from there. When there's a disconnection in, the ulama will tell us that the strength of the Habib, or the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is weakened in that sense. Whenever there is something missing in between. So those connections are very, very strong in Islam. And we have this in our the tajweed system, the qira'ah that we learn from our Qur'an. That connection goes back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The bay'ah system, the spiritual bay'ah system, our hadith system, in fact the Qur'an itself. It's going back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where would we be without this connection? Without that. So our connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is there physically, like people say. How is it there physically? It is there through our teachers, through our ulama, through our shuyukh, through our pir sahibs, through our murshids, through our muhaddithun. It's there. And there were those people who actually wanted a much stronger relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying that, Ya Rasulullah, I have heard that seeing you in a dream is like seeing you physically. Ya Rasulullah, please let me see you in my dream. Oh, Ya Rasulullah, please let me see you in my dream. And those people worked for it. They worked for it, hoping that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will come into their dream. Look at Imam Busiri rahmatullahi ta'ala, we were just singing the Burda. He was a poet and all that. If the Burda made him what he is today. And that Burda is not just because the Burda, it's because of the Burda being the Burda of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's his connection. That's his connection. Where is our connection then? Where is our relationship? Look at Imam Jalaluddin as-Suyuti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. It is said that he saw Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam more than 70 times, not in a dream. Imam Busiri rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a dream. But Imam Jalaluddin as-Suyuti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it is reported, more than 70 times in the state of wakefulness. Physically. SubhanAllah, these are the people who actually work for that. Imam al-Ghazali rahmatullahi ta'ala, how many times he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And so many of our shuyukh, even though the contemporary ones, contemporary shuyukh, contemporary teachers, seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, whether in a state of wakefulness or in sleep, in dreams, they have. Somebody once said that our ulama, the state of ulama in the 20th, 21st century is such, the ulama, shuyukh and awliya, Sufiya is such, that during their lives we curse them, we criticize them. When they pass away, we start doing that urs. We suddenly say, oh, what a great body life was. But while they're alive, we just don't even bother visiting them. In every in Urdu they say, gali kucha, every alleyway. Okay, in certain towns, every alleyway you will find Sufiya, shuyukh, awliya, you will find them there. But do we have the eyes to see? Do we actually have the minds to actually understand that these are those people? Just quickly going on to one of my teachers went with his sheikh rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi to an umrah long time ago, 20 years ago or so. That was the first time. Went to umrah, performed umrah with his sheikh rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi. When they went to the Rawda of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the sheikh asked, he says, tell me, what do you want? What shall I make dua for you? My sheikh, make whichever dua you want for me. He said, okay, I'll make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings you here again and again. I said, okay, yeah. What could be better than that? So that was it. That was it. And every time I called this particular teacher now who was there for whom the dua was made, Every time I call that home, oh, they're on Umrah. 5-6 times a year they're there. And they don't say that I'm going to Umrah, or if they do, if I manage to get, oh, I'm at the airport, I'm just about to go. Well, you just been back a month ago, yeah, but alhamdulillah, you know. And they never say that I am going to perform Umrah. They say I am going to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm going to do my hazri at Roza Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is Allah. Because that is where the dua was accepted 5-6 times a year. Subhanallah. Very few people get the honor of even performing Umrah. Those people in certain countries find so difficult. I once met someone there who had been saving up for 16 years from India. For 16 years, and she managed to get to Makkah Mukarramah at that time. 16 years she'd been saving up. Coming from a village, selling chickens and eggs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it so easy for us that we say, oh right, okay, I've got a few days, I can book off work, I'll book next 2 weeks of my boarding. That's it. And look at those people, 16 years. Abdullah ibn Mubarak, radiallahu ta'ala, subhanallah, 20 years. 20 years he saved up, yet he could not perform Hajj. Okay, so not Abdullah ibn Mubarak. The person that Abdullah ibn Mubarak visited, Abdullah ibn Mufiq, Abdullah ibn Mufaq, Abdullah ibn Muqaffal, all 3 names have been mentioned in that particular narration. That when Abdullah ibn Mubarak went to meet this person, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, he performed Hajj that year. But the angels said that even his Hajj was not accepted. But if it was accepted, 60,000 or 600,000 people, their Hajj was accepted because of that person who had been saving up for 20 years to perform Hajj, yet he could not perform Hajj. And because he ended up giving that money that he had saved up to his neighbor who needed the money more than he did, to feed her children. And those people, look at that sincerity, look at that dedication. Look at that connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the best way to actually make this connection, try to strengthen it. You know, in the month of Ramadan, we say, oh, Ramadan's here, we need to connect ourselves with the Quran. Subhanallah, we're going to get the Quran out. I'm going to go to Salat al-Tarawih and this and that and everything. But like I mentioned right at the beginning, we know of certain civilizations that their connection with the messenger was there, but with the divine scriptures they lost it. Or their connection with the divine scriptures was there, but the connection with the messenger, they lost it. We are those people who have our connection with the Quran, the divine scripture, and also with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in the month of Ramadan, we all start gearing up and thinking, right, okay, my connection with the Quran, we need to, that's it, okay? Even like Imam Malik rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi used to stop everything, bring out the Mus'haf and recite the Mus'haf from its pages, from the book itself throughout the month of Ramadan, though he knew the Quran by heart. And we try and do that as well in the month of Ramadan. But what about our connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do we just leave it till Rabiul Awwal? So Rabiul Awwal will come, we'll go to a few gatherings and we'll renew our relationship with him and reconnect with him. I want to mention something. I was asked to mention something personal, but I'm not going to. I think I've got over time as well. Time is very short as well. But I'm going to mention something which is indirect. One of my former students who used to study with me, he went to Umrah 2 years ago. He went to perform Umrah, and he went to Roza of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm trying not to advertise here, but I have to mention it. Mukhtasar al-Quduri, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the ability to translate into English. He had it on his mobile device in Kindle format. And at the Roda of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the Sufa, he said after Salat al-Isha, he used to just, once reciting Quran and everything, just, the last thing he used to do was, let's read something on my mobile device. And he went over to Kindle and he saw that he had the Mukhtasar al-Quduri on that in English. So just the introduction, he said, over 3 nights I read just the introduction. I just tried to read that. You know, if you read the introduction grammatically, it's not that fantastic. But he said I read that over 3 nights. One night I'd read after Salatul Isha before going back to the hotel, just a little bit. And then I'd read another part, and after 3 nights, just the introduction itself was complete in 3 nights. He said after the 3rd night, when I went back to my hotel, subhanAllah, you know, very emotional sometimes when you mention this. He said, I had the ziyarah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam in my dream. And Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he had something in his hand. I could not make out what it was. But he said that, you know, sometimes in your dream you know what something is, though even afterwards you think, well, what was that? He said that I believe that was the Mukhtasar al-Quduri itself. Because it was before, you know, like when Imam al-Quduri wrote it, he hung it on the Kaaba itself, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, oh Allah, this is my effort, oh Allah accept it, oh Allah accept it. This is what Imam al-Quduri did long time ago, over 1,000 years ago he wrote that book. So, subhanAllah, you know, when he told me this, he sent me this message from Medina Munawwara at that time when he woke up for Fajr prayer, and he said, look, this is the dream I just had, and I'm shivering. Okay, what does it mean? I said, well, you know better what it means. If you think you saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're certain of it. Shaitan cannot form the image of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, it must be something. It must be something. It must mean something very, very special there. So that is something just thought I'd mention, by the way. Our connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We all want to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We want to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We want to connect with him. Let us ask us this question and be sincere about it. Our state right now on a personal level, is it such that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would want to meet us? Okay, it is like saying that if I was to die right now, would I be in a state that when I go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would I be going in a happy state or a sad state? Would Allah be pleased with me or displeased with me? So in the same way we can ask this, that would be a question of Ramadan again. Is my connection and relationship with the Quran what it should be? Likewise, we want to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our dreams. We want to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a state of wakefulness, like Imam Jalaluddin as-Suyuti rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi and many others. But is our state on a personal level, is it such that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be happy if he met us, if he saw us, if he came into our dream? We want to reach out and connect to him. How do we reach out and connect to him? How did Sayyidina Adam ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wasalam reach out and connect to the name that was written on the gates of paradise? He did not reach out there. He actually asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, bring it to me. In the same way, if we cannot reach out there to Medina or physically with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we need to bring that here, like, you know, the naat, mera dil hi Medina hai. Yeah? वो मेरे दिल में रहते हैं, मेरा दिल ही मदीना है. He's singing in the naat that, you know, I cannot be in Medina, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lives in my heart. My heart itself is Medina, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lives there. But is our heart clean enough for us to place Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam there? Or do we just leave this heart to clean it in the 12 days of Rabiul Awwal and say, right, oh subhanAllah, my connection, my relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is strong. These days are to remind ourselves of that connection. Are we really worthy of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam visiting us in our dreams? It would be an honor, of course. We all want that, regardless of how sinful we are. But we need to think about these things as well. Like I mentioned right at the beginning, the question that I asked before, I didn't even ask the question, that many Muslims who say I am Muslim but I don't believe in Allah because I need logical explanations and scientific proof of that. In the same way, when it comes to loving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where is that logical explanation? Where is that scientific proof? Love needs none of that. Love needs none of that. Sayyidina Ibrahim ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wassalam, he was prepared for the fire of Nimrud. Where's the logical explanation for that? He was just a mere child. Just a mere child. Where is the logical explanation of putting Musa ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wassalam into a basket and putting him into the water when we know that Fir'aun is out to kill everyone? Where is the logical explanation for that? Everything does not need logical explanations and scientific proofs and things like that. Certain things are understood because they are. There are explanations to that. Science can explain to us why praying 5 times a day, and at the times when we pray, why those prayers are beneficial to us. Science can explain all these things. But the Sahaba did not ask for those explanations. They said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni yusalli. That's enough. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to fast 2, 3, 4 days on the trot. We started doing that and he said to us, no, don't do this now. If you're going to pray, pray like I do. But if you're going to fast, only fast the way I showed you before, but not this fast. Ayyukum mithli, none of you is like me. So there are many things which we cannot logically explain from our level. But we take them because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave them to us. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave them to us. Even his worst enemies would say that he is not a liar. We don't accept him, but he is not a liar. So this is the status of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in even the eyes of his enemies. And going back to our connection, our relationship with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where do we really stand? Where do we really stand? We want Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be happy with us. Are we in a state that he would be happy with us? We want him to visit us in our dreams. Are our minds clean enough for him to visit us? We say that he lives in our hearts. Are our hearts clean enough, pure enough for him to be living in our heart? Sayyidina Bilal, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, going back to that. He left because he saw that he felt that my eyes won't be purified by the glory of Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam anymore. I'm just going to be seeing empty places. I'm leaving Medina. Subhanallah. This was that stage. Where do we stand? So on a personal level, each and every single one of us, I think we just need to reevaluate ourselves. Not leave it only to Rabiul Awwal. The entire year should be for us Rabiul Awwal. Every month should be like Rabiul Awwal. Every day should be like Mawlid. Every day should be our connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the best manner of performing, of celebrating, commemorating the Mawlid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is knowing him, trusting him, understanding him, studying him, and emulating his example all of the time. All of the time. We are sinful people. We forget. But every time we remember, we need to go back, start and do istighfar, and try to reconnect with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the love that he duly deserves from us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to emulate his pure example in the way that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has shown us, in the way that the Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in have guided us. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you so much to Sheikh Tahir for that. Really, very beneficial. So in the first part of the talk, very beneficial look, scan through how different great figures from the past have connected to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one of the things I certainly have taken from that personally is that everyone has their own relationship with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And no one's relationship should be judged by others. Everyone has their own, because everyone has their own different temperament, their own personality. Don't try to judge where you stand in relation to other people in your relationship with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? We all have our own unique connection to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The important thing is to have that connection and work on that connection. Once you've got that connection, you can try to help other people to gain a connection as well. But don't judge other people for what they do. Connection is inward. it manifests outwardly in many different forms. You see with Sayyidina Bilal, particularly, that it was his connection with the Prophet ﷺ that caused him to leave Medina. Okay? And this also, by the way, is something that sometimes you get asked about, but the Sahaba, a sentence that starts, but the Sahaba didn't ... Yes, that's right. But the Sahaba lived with the Prophet ﷺ. Your connection to someone you've lived with, you've interacted with, and that person is no longer in front of your eyes, is very different from those who have never lived with the Prophet ﷺ, never interacted with the Prophet ﷺ. These are two very different types of connection, and they entail different types of behavior. Alright? It's a simple thing to understand. Alright? So bear these things in mind, inshallah. Allah make it easy for us. We're going to hand over now to our munshideen, and it's red hats today. I can see some blue hats. I don't know whether they're proper blue hats. Are you blue hats, or are you just wearing blue hats? Okay, so you're coming, or is it just red hats today?
No, we're coming.
You're coming as well. Okay, fine. So you've got the Bushishi singers. What is your actual formal name? Because I call you red hats and blue hats.
Al-Fitra.
Huh?
Al-Fitra.
Al-Fitra, there we are. Al-Fitra red and Al-Fitra red corner and blue corner, right?
Al-Wijdan is blue.
Huh?
Blue is Al-Wijdan.
Al-Wijdan. Wow. Okay. Al-Fitra and Al-Wijdan, the Bushishi singers are going to be performing for us now. So, and you can see, you will be able to see now. Is it working? This fancy new thing that you're trying? Huh? Okay, well, for those of you can see, I used to sing when I was this young in front of audiences, alright? But there were a lot more of us. There were a lot more of us when I used to do it, so I salute you for your bravery. But take it away, Bismillah.
والقلم وما يسطرون ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون وإن لك لأجر غير ممنون وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم صدق الله العظيم
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم الله. My heart is so full of longing. I wish to be close to my beloved. I dream to walk in the streets of Medina and to quench the thirst of my spirit by visiting you, O Muhammad. As-salam troubles and worries as I entered your mouth so gently, and as the panelists stood there before you, I couldn't stop my tears from falling in your presence. Oh Muhammad, assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah, assalamu alayka ya Habibi, ya Nabi Allah, ya Rasul Allah.
Taiba, your praise is so blessed, and it brought life back to my spirit. I left my heart with my beloved, sending
Blessings on Muhammad, assalamu alayka ya Rasul Allah, assalamu alayka ya Habibi, ya Nabi Allah, ya Rasul Allah.
طيبة جئتك صبا برسول الله محبا بالروضة سكنة روحي وجوال
للهادي محمد السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا حبيبي، يا نبي الله، يا رسول الله. كل القلوب إلى الحبيب تميل، كل القلوب إلى الحبيب تميل، ومعي بذلك، ومعي بذلك، ومعي بذلك شاهد ودليل. الصلاة عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا تاج القرة أهل الله، يا نور العين يا طه زين، يا نور العين يا طه
coming to sing as well?
You want to speak?
Come on then.
Bismillah.
What I was trying to do before, it might be worthwhile trying it now, is crossing the mics over like this so it picks up all of your voices properly. Get a bit of a mic array going. So obviously you'll have to lift up one, won't you? Yeah? Let's try that and see how that goes. Let's just give us a bit of a tune and see how that goes. All of you, I mean. Go for it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صدق الله العظيم الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم الخلق كلهم والحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته والحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم دعا إلى الله فالمستمسكون دعا إلى الله فالمستمسكون به مستمسكون بحبل غير مقتحم مستمسكون بحبل غير مقتحم نظروا مدد لله المدد الله نظروا مدد لله المدد يا رسول مدد يا حبيب مدد يا نبي مدد نظروا مدد لله المدد الله نظروا مدد لله المدد يا رسول مدد يا حبيب مدد يا نبي مدد وجميع نبي مدد الله أزمت ولا نبي مدد الله جميع نبي مدد أزمت ولا نبي مدد بركة ولا نبي نعمة ولا نبي الله كيف يار نظروا مدد لله المدد الله نظروا مدد لله المدد يا رسول مدد يا حبيب مدد يا نبي مدد رحمة ولا نبي مدد الله رفعت ولا نبي مدد الله رحمة ولا نبي مدد رفعت ولا نبي مدد يا رب يا نبي ميتا ميتا نبي الله كلا نظروا مدد لله المدد الله نظروا مدد لله المدد يا رسول مدد يا حبيب مدد يا نبي مدد نظروا مدد لله المدد الله نظروا مدد لله المدد يا رسول مدد يا حبيب مدد يا نبي مدد لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله صلوا على رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا Allah. There is no God but Allah. There is no God but Allah. Blessings upon the messenger. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Sallu ala rasulillah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Sallu ala rasulillah. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد رسول الله. محمد رسول الله. تو زندہ ہے واللہ زندہ ہے واللہ. تو زندہ ہے واللہ زندہ ہے واللہ. تو زندہ ہے یا رسول اللہ. تو زندہ ہے یا حبیب اللہ. سب جہانوں میں زندہ ہے واللہ. محمد رسول الله. محمد رسول الله. أنتم حي والله. أنتم حي والله. أنتم حي والله. أنتم حي والله. أنتم حي يا رسول الله. أنتم حي يا حبيب الله. أنتم حي في كل العالمين. الله الله الله. لا إله إلا الله. الله محمد رسول الله. تو زندہ ہے واللہ زندہ ہے واللہ. تو زندہ ہے واللہ زندہ ہے واللہ. تو زندہ ہے یا رسول اللہ. تو زندہ ہے یا حبیب اللہ. سب جہانوں میں زندہ ہے واللہ. لا إله إلا الله. محمد رسول الله. محمد رسول الله. الله 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 يا ربي. الله 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 يا ربي. يا من تريد تدريبني فاسأل عني الألوهية. أما البشر لا يعرفني يا ربي يا عيد 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 فهذا يوم سعيد يا من تريد تدريبني فاسأل عن الألوهية أما البشر لا يعرفني فهو لي عنه غيبي يا الله 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 يا ربي الله 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 يا ربي Oh Master of the universe we stand before you in humbleness forgive your ummah for his sake he is your blessing upon us Aid, 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 aid فهذا يوم سعيد يا من تريد تدريبني فاسأل عن الألوهية أما البشر لا يعرفني أهوالي عنه غيبي يا الله 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 يا ربي الله 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 يا ربي Oh Master of the universe we stand before you in humbleness forgive your ummah for his sake he is your blessing upon us Allah 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 ya Rabbi Allah 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 ya Rabbi
Barakallahu feekum, mashallah. Allah. Mashallah, we got a double helping there. Bless you, thank you guys so much that you're heading off to Morocco, is that right? In a few days' time, so alhamdulillah they gave us a little bit of time before they head off to Morocco. Is it both blues and reds heading off to Morocco?
Lots of the blues and some of the reds.
Lots of blues, some of the reds. I need to give you I can't remember your names, just blues and reds. Just go with blues and reds. It's your fault you have the hat. Okay, mashallah. We're gonna do that Asma al-Nabi, but before we do, I've received another beautiful message from one of our sisters about how she personally connects to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And again, I would like to read out. And she said, these are some reflections on my own experiences of connecting to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I hope brings benefit to people. When I listened with a broken heart that he gave his undivided attention to a woman that came to him and asked him about a question she had, and he just listened until she finished. I sat there thinking that I'm going through so much. If only he could listen to me and give my heart comfort too, and listen to the questions that I had. When I listened about all the hardships he went through, especially in the year of sadness, at that moment in my life where I was going through deep grief, and I felt deep pain for him, and understood for the first time how much he had endured. I sat there thinking, all the doors are closing on me, and listening to that moment of the Prophet ﷺ's life, I felt that all the doors were closing on him too. How can a person endure so much? Then I listened to that dua that he made at Taif, and it brought comfort to my heart, and I felt every word like he was speaking to me, that no matter how bad it gets, continue on, because all that matters is your Lord, and as long as he is not angry and disappointed in you, all those hardships are worth the pain. When I listened to how he lost his child, and he wept until his beard was dripping, he made me feel that it's okay to grieve and cry, as that is mercy and part of our human nature. And no one should make me feel that I can't do that. It's not an indication of lack of faith or trust in God. When I heard about how he made a child happy who had lost his parents, and the Prophet ﷺ was so generous that he gave him the gift of himself to be his father, When I heard about how a camel complained to him, about how much his owner is placing too much burden on him to carry, and how he listened and corrected his owner, and that same camel died of grief when the Prophet ﷺ passed away. When I heard of how a young boy whose pet bird had died, and he went to see him and consoled him. These are some moments of the Prophet ﷺ's life that really make me connect. When in darkness you can't see the light, but through your darkest days you are in a position of weakness. And even though it's difficult, finding something that gives you hope, this hope is what gets you through. At this moment in your life, you are in the greatest position to deeply connect to the Prophet ﷺ. Because when you feel pain and compassion, your heart is open to receiving wisdom and guidance. Because your mind is silenced by all other noise. And in this stillness, you come to know God and the Prophet ﷺ. I hope you all benefit through this and know that Allah's words are true. With hardship there is ease. With hardship there is ease. I pray for everyone to have ease and get through those darkest days, and that Allah gives us all the strength to stay strong and brings us tranquility in our hearts. Ameen. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslima. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And with those thoughts in our mind and in our hearts, let's remember the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with his beautiful names. Asma al-Nabi. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على من له أشرف الأسماء سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حميد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا محمود صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أحيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا وحيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ماحي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حاشر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا عاقب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا طه صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ياسين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا طاهر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مطهر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا طيب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رسول الرحمة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا خير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا جامع صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مقتدي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مغافي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رسول الملاحم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رسول الراحة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا كامل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا إبليل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مدثر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا
الله عليه وسلم سيدنا محمد يا صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا خاتم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا محيي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا منجي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مذكر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ناصر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا منصور صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نبي الرحمة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نبي التوبة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حديث عليكم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا معلوم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا شهيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا شهيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا شهيد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مشهود صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا بشير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مبشر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نذير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا منذر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نور صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سراج صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مصباح صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا هدى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مهدي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مغير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا داعي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مدعو صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مجيب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مجاب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حفي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ولي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا قوي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أمين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا محمود صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا كريم
صراط المستقيم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ذكر الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سيف الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا حزب الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا النجم الثابت صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مجتبى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا منتقى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أميون صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مختار صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أجير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا جبار صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أبو القاسم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أبو طالب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أبو طيب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أبو إبراهيم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مشفع صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا شفيع صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صالح صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مصلح صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مهيمن صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صادق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مصدق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صدق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سيد المرسلين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا إمام المتقين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا قائد الغر المحجلين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا خالد الرحمن صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا بابر صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مبار صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا وجيه صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا نصيح صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا ناصح صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا وكيل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا متوكل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا كفيل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا شفيق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مقيم السنة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مقدس صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا روح القدس صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا روح الحق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا روح القسط صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا كافي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مكتفي صلى
وسلم سيدنا مخصوص بالمجد صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مخصوص بالعز صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مخصوص بالشرف صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الوسيلة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الصيف صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الفضيلة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الرزاق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الحجة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب السلطان صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الرداء صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الدرجة الرفيعة صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Okay.
سيدنا صاحب الدرجة الرفيعة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الدار صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الرفقة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الإرادة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الفضيل صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الضرائب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الخاتم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الأمة صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب البرهان صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب البيان صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا قاصح اللسان صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا مطهر الجنان صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رؤوف صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رحيم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا أولو الخير صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الإسلام صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سيد الكونين صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا عين النعيم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا عين النور صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سعد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا سعد الخلق صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا خطيب الأمم صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا علم الهدى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا كاشف الكرى صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا رفيع الرتب صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا عز الأرض صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا صاحب الفرج صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم يا رب بجاه نبيك المصطفى ورسولك المرتضى طهر قلوبنا من كل وصف يباعدنا عن مشاهدتك ومحبتك وأمتنا على السنة والجماعة والشوق إلى لقائك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على روح سيدنا محمد في الأرواح وعلى جسده في الأجساد مشهده في المشاهد وعلى ذكره إذا ذكر صلاة منا على نبينا اللهم أبلغه منا السلام كما ذكر السلام والسلام على النبي ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته السلام عليك يا رسول الله السلام عليك يا حبيب الله السلام عليك يا سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله السلام عليك وعلى آلك الطيبين الطاهرين السلام عليك وعلى أزواجك أمهات المؤمنين السلام عليك وعلى أصحابك أجمعين السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين سلام على قبرهم يزار من المريد سلام على روضة وفيها محمد سلام على من سار في الليل ربه فبلغه البرق وفي كل مقصد سلام على من قال للضبط من أنا فقال رسول الله أنت محمد سلام على المدفون في أرض طيبة ومن خصه الرحمن بالفضل والمجد نبي هباه الله من الحسن والبهاء فطوبى لعبد زار قبر محمد هيا راكبا نحو المدينة قاصدا فبلغ سلامي للحبيب محمد في روضته الحسنى مناي وبغيتي وفيها شفاء قلبي وروحي وراحتي فإن بعدت عني وعز مزارها فتمثلها لدي أحسن صورة تنزه طرف العين في حسن روضها ويسلو بها لبي وسري ومهجتي فهذا يا قطب العوالم كلها أقبلها شوقا لإشباهه التي وصل على قطب الوجود محمد صلاة بها تمحو عنا كل زلة لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بحبيبك المصطفى عندك يا حبيبنا يا سيدنا محمد إنا نتوسل بك إلى ربك فاشفع لنا عند المولى العظيم يا نعم الرسول الطاهر اللهم شفعه فينا بجاهه عندك اللهم شفع فينا بجاهك اللهم شفع فينا بجاهك اللهم يا رب بجاه نبيك ومصطفاك وحبيبك ومجتباك وأفضل من أجاب دعوتك ولباك خلص أعمالنا ونق قلوبنا وعاملنا في الدارين برضاك ونجنا من الفتن كلها ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا أقل منها واغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولأشياخنا ولمن له الحق علينا ولجميع المسلمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
والحمد لله رب العالمين. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. One quick announcement, which is the registration or pre-registration for the WinterSpring Children's Mawlid is opened up. So this will take place on Saturday, this coming Saturday, when the main portion of Mawlid will be happening. Places are, there is a restriction on places. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but given that we have about 50 children in the youth program now, as things stand, I wouldn't waste too much time in registering your children for that. We have lots of fun activities for them to do. It will be between 5 and 8 p.m. On Saturday. Last year, we had to turn people away because it was fully booked. So please don't miss out on the opportunity to book it. And book it nice and early for your children to attend, because we want to ensure that all the children enjoy themselves and are also kept safe and so forth. We have to keep numbers to manageable amounts. I'm going to try and find the email address, although you can do it. I shouldn't talk before I ask this, should I? Can you do it downstairs? Can we find out, please? If they can register downstairs. Otherwise, there is an email address which is helpfully which is
WSN.
Yeah, it's helpfully unoriginal. It's just wsnchildren@gmail.com. wsnchildren@gmail.com. You can register your children there if you would like them to attend. Other than that, tomorrow we are back to 7:45. Tomorrow we're back to 7:45. So we hope to see all of you there. And I would also actually, one second. I'd also like you to remember in your dua, when we make this final dua, the brother of Hafiz Khizr here, as well as of Maryam and Amina, and I'm going to forget all the names, lots of siblings. Tell me. Habiba and Maryam, and others. They are a very important part of WinterSpring. They're basically our half of our admin team. The brother Abdul Qadir had a heart attack on his way to work a week ago, 2 weeks ago. He is recovering, but please make dua for his good health and his shifa. Fatiha. Oh, before the Fatiha, because I can see people starting to make their way out. Numbers on the boards, please. Numbers on the board. Gents, our numbers increasing every day, mashallah, that's fantastic. You're only 90,000 behind the sisters now. Mashallah. Fatiha. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم.
آمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأمته أجمعين. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم ارزقنا حب حبيبك المصطفى عليه التحية والثناء. Allah, accept our gathering here tonight. Allah, accept all the good things that we have done here, listen to the way we participated, Ya Allah, accept all the good things from us. Oh Allah, help us to be better people, better humans. Oh Allah, help us to be true lovers of your beloved Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh Allah, help us to reconnect ourselves with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as we should. Oh Allah, give us the ability to emulate his pure example in our daily lives, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, give us the ability to look after ourselves, look after one another, look after other people, look after people of our own faith and those of other faiths as well, Ya Allah, according to the teachings of beloved Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh Allah, give us the ability to love him, the love that is due to him, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, give us the ability to honor him, the honor that is due to him, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, give us his blessed appearance in our dreams, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, give us his blessed appearance in the state of wakefulness as well, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, make us pure enough. Oh Allah, make us pure enough. Oh Allah, make us pure enough to behold that beautiful vision, Ya Allah, in this dunya, Ya Allah. Allahumma rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim wa tub alayna innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Oh Allah, those people, Muslims who have passed away on this earth, Ya Allah, have your specific mercy upon each and every single one of them. Forgive all of their sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, those people who have passed away among our families, Ya Allah, have your mercy and blessings upon them. Forgive them of all their major and minor sins, Ya Allah, and grant them the uppermost abodes of paradise, Ya Allah, in the companionship of your beloved Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar wa adkhilna al-jannata ma'al abrar ya aziz ya ghaffar ya rabbal alamin. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqihi wa nuri arshihi وزينة فرشه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأمته أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.